tuning into my show. Today I have a special guest. She goes by the name Q. And today we're just going to have a little conversation. And the purpose of this interview is to show that women have to stick together and also show that, we all go through certain things, but it's best to just, keep our head up high and keep it going. So Q, how are you today?
I'm good. How about you? You look nice.
You look nice too. Thank you. Just bored in the house.
Bored in the house. Okay.
So, the way we met is a little crazy, a little different. And do you want to tell the story or do you want me to tell the story?
Hey, it doesn't matter. It's gonna come out either way.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. You can add if you would like. So back in the day, a couple years ago, I was dating a guy. We're gonna use X, okay? I was dating X, and we was together for a while. But while I was dating X, he was cheating on me, and he was dating Q. And I didn't know this, but it came out in the end, and that's how we end up meeting each other. So Q. When I remember, so I just want you probably don't know this, but back in the day, I would go on X Instagram and I would see like heart eyes, like comments or whatever. And I was, I stalked you. I went on your Instagram and I stalked you because I'm like, who is this? So I said, oh, she's cute and she do photography. Like, okay. And then so I asked him about it and he said nothing. So then I went to your Instagram, I DM'd you and I was like, hey, I wanted to know if you could do family photos of me and and you blocked me. So I asked him, I was like, yeah, I asked such and such, if she can do photos of us, and she blocked me. He was like, yeah, she said she don't like the drama. And I was like, I was thinking in my head, like, drama? How would it be drama if, y'all not dating or anything? That just let me know right there something was going on, but neither here or there, girl.
Yeah, that's complete red flag right there. I mean, if anything, when you're dealing with a man or a boy, shall I say,
yes,
ma'am. In a situation where he's dealing with multiple women, and it might have been multiple women outside of us.
Yes, it was.
And when you're in a situation like that, and you are completely oblivious to what's going on in his outer world, that's like the number one red flag there.
Right.
The way I came about meeting him was through his cousin. He's gonna call him T. But okay. Other than that, the situation came about starting a project on his half.
I remember the project.
Yeah, and then the project came about with his talents. I guess he rapped or whatever. And then that's when I came in as like the model on the side, the extra in the video, this, that, and the third.
And it was a nice video, by the way. You looked really good, just to let you know that.
Well, thank you. But, after the video aired and everything, that's when I started catching feelings for him or so, because of the conversations that we were, having, this, that, and the third. And then, down the line where it came in the midst of conversations, logistical matters started being brought up on the terms of the things that he didn't have in his life. And because I didn't know myself as much back then, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can be this person to help you through it, and I do this for anybody. But at the same time, it's like, when you've done open up a level of heart with someone,
right?
They've opened up a heart with you. It pretty much opens up vulnerability at that standpoint. And that's where the man pretty much takes in, manipulation, this, and the third.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
When logistical matters get into play and your heart isn't aligned with that, it's so easy for them to dictate that and to get into the way of your means and what you can provide for them. And that's where I got caught up. Now, as far as like with you, I'm glad that your memory is all the way, thorough with this, because goodness, when I closed the case, it was done and I moved
Listen,
forward.
I think it was because of the history in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how long it was, I was young, it was years, and then something came out of that situation. So I think it was the history and how the hurt. You know, like that hurt was still there. So my memory is like 100% there on everything because of the connection and you know what we've been through. I was disappointed. You know, it's
I even had like a seed. Yeah, y'all even had a seed together and everything. So you know, I can totally get where you coming from as far as the memory. That's like a trauma that's hit, and it can affect more than a childhood trauma that and I just felt at the time, I was like, okay, what's going on? I was completely oblivious, just like you.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, like what's going on this and the third? And that's when he, brought you up in the midst, and me, I'm always about, making sure that the man is cool with the child's mother, always.
Right.
I feel like that's a beautiful thing, if you can have that communication, that tells me that, hey, you're doing your part as a man, as a father, this and the third, cool. But me, I have to get my questions down the line, especially if we're supposed to be talking.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, I said, okay, are you like still like talking to her? Like, are y'all still like doing y'all thing? And that's when he said, okay, yeah, I'm still attracted to her. Just on the third. That's cool, because you're a beautiful girl. You know what I'm saying? You're beautiful.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I wouldn't see why nobody wouldn't be attracted, but it was like, okay, I want to make sure that he's not going down a lane that's not gonna hurt me in the long run. So I had to guard myself in the midst. Mm-hmm. But because I didn't know myself as much, a lot of other things got tied in the midst or whatever. I was like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and just stick it out. Let me just, let it go through, like let it go through with it. So, but what really messed me up as far as me dating this guy was I was putting the preference before the standard than anything.
Okay.
And the reason why I say this is because when I didn't know myself, I was so wrapped up around dating guys that met my standard as far as, okay, do they look nice? Do they have something going for themselves? How well can they talk? Do they got swag? This and the third.
Right.
I'm looking at the standard of, do you have yourself stabilized? Are you stable? Do you have yourself together? Do you have any streams of income? Like, what do you have going on for yourself? I didn't have any of that, and I looked past all of that. So one day, that's when he called me. He was like, okay, I'm having some trouble with my car. And I'm just like, oh hell, like, all right, like what's going on? I'm over here being that peacemaker, this and the third. And when he mentioned about his car and the way it broke down and how he was trying to get to where he was trying to get to as far as taking on a new job, I was like, all right, well, let me just, help in or whatever. Let me go out here and see what I can do. At first I was like, nah, don't even try it or whatever, because you don't really trust this guy fully like that. Right. I was so far gone into the feeling side of it, I gave in. I said, all right, let me just go ahead and help you out as far as the vehicle and everything, trying to get you transportation. Next thing you know, the car's involved. He's supposed to be making some payments to me, this, that, and the third. Supposed to be doing his will the way he said he was going to do. Next thing you know, that's when and I did see your message too, the time when you reached out to me, the DM, when you was like, oh yeah, the photos and all that. Oh, yeah. I was like, all right, like,
but like, honestly, woman intuition, like that, nobody can tell me that that's not real. Nobody can tell me not to go by that, because that literally was me crying for help. Like, I did that to you, so you could say, he told me he don't message, like, so you could give me some answer. Honestly, like, I know I was being funny the whole time, like, but when you like, didn't respond, I can only listen to him and go by what he was saying. And it's crazy because, like, with the car situation, him telling you that the car broke down, he had a car paid off, honey. And it just shows, like, guys really finesse. They really will finesse. Like, X had a car paid off that could have made it to where he was going, that was reliable, right? But instead, he wanted a brand new car with payments. That's just weird to me. That's why I'm just like, it's
yeah, it was situation. I mean, it was messy. It was all messy. And I keep saying again, because I didn't know myself, I allowed that to happen.
Right.
I couldn't put that all the way on him. But at the same time, it was like, okay, it sucks that it had to happen in the midst of a man who didn't really know himself.
Right.
And even if they do know themselves, I mean, sometimes it's all about the game, you know, and me, I'm not about them games. But my thing is just trying to get the car back was the whole entire situation that
So
played out.
that's where it really got, that's when
I
it was
reached
like,
out to you and I was like, okay, like it's gotta be more than this. It's gotta be more than this, because it's like, a woman who's just coming into my DMs, and I never looked at it as a term of, it was drama or anything that mattered. I've always knew, what you looked like, this and the third. I said, okay, let me just go ahead and talk to her, see where her head is at.
Yeah.
And she opened up to me about a similar situation like such. I said, whoa, like we can pretty much relate and we can move forward from there.
Let's get it done.
it was very chaotic, but getting the car back was very, very, I mean, it was so dramatic because his father had to get involved.
Right.
He wanted to take over those payments. But then his father started turning out to be so just over sexualized and like, okay, send me pictures of you so I can make sure I know who you are. Trying to make it seem like it was just so just natural, like a natural process, like, like, oh yeah, send me pictures of you. Next thing you know, he's like, oh yeah, why don't you come and get to know me? And I'm like, hold up, like, whoa, like this is crazy.
Wow.
Now, thank God I had myself, established enough to where the car didn't affect me.
Right.
Everything, was set up just right. I had to go through what I had to go through so I could get myself back to my stable ways.
Right.
It came to like the courts and all of that getting involved too. They dismissed the case. And that there conveyed to me that our justice system is so weak.
I didn't know they dismissed the case. That's crazy.
Yes, they dismissed the case. And I was like, man, we done went through all of this. And at the end of the case, after we left the courthouse, he was laughing and everything, and I'm like,
Did you end up getting your car back?
I mean, I did, but I ended up turning it in and everything and just letting it go.
Okay.
Letting it go. But, when I saw how the father was acting, I said, no, this is just completely toxic.
Right.
In my ways too, because I was accepting all of that. I was allowing that. And most of that came into play of, the things that I wasn't dismantling as far as my childhood memories, like my traumas that I just never overcame. I went through situations where, it's like I didn't accept myself a lot.
Right.
I was seeking it through other people or other men. It just didn't matter. I just didn't care. Or when it was times that I knew better, but I just didn't give a fuck. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Kept it going. I was a person who, I grew up under codependency. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I felt like even if I was doing the right thing when it came to the whole car situation, secondhand emotion and secondhand embarrassment just kept on affecting me at all costs. I kept thinking about his emotions.
Right.
And how he felt. But I wasn't thinking about how I felt in the situation.
And are you saying that came from your childhood trauma, like from what you've seen as a child?
Yeah, like that came a lot. That comes with parents yelling at you, parents telling you to shut the fuck up, or not telling you to have your own voice. So I felt like I didn't have my own voice when I was speaking to this guy. And it wasn't just this situation that affected me, on why I acted the way I acted. It was through so many different causes. I mean, I'm pretty complex, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to my past.
Yeah.
So because I wasn't fully aware of myself then, I allowed so much harm, so much, just karma to enter into my life. And when that situation ended, I made a promise to God. I said, I will never deal with another fuckboy. And life has been great ever since.
I'm happy for you. So would you say that was the breaking point for you? Like that whole situation, that was the breaking point. That was like, you know what? That's it. Like now it's time for me to focus on Q, figure out what I love. I deserve way better than what I'm putting myself through, right?
Yeah, that was it. That was it, because so much tied into what had affected me. And that was my spirit, my mental, you know what I'm saying, my physical, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, when you have so many different levels of you hitting all at one time, you break.
Yeah.
You're not fully deconstructing within yourself. You're gonna end up losing yourself. And that's one thing that didn't want to happen. And I even remember, reaching out to his cousin T or whatever. And the only thing he could say was, oh, I empathize with you, but you're not doing anything about it. You're not even trying to help me but he's at your house with this car.
Right.
Like, you're not even trying. So I had to block myself from a lot of people. I literally went under isolation mode and really found myself. And all I could tell myself was that all of this physicality type of stuff, whatever, just didn't matter. What mattered the most was me.
Right.
And that was me, you know, isolating myself from the friends I had, my family, whether it was me and my ways, my bullshit, you know, I had to let it go.
Yeah.
And if a woman doesn't know how to deconstruct herself and to heal on her own, she can't find it nowhere else out there. It's impossible.
Listen.
It's impossible because
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, you can't make nobody change. You can't make nobody change. It's like a man. You can't make nobody change. And one thing with a man is, some women, and I can say that I helped myself up to this point before. You know, I used to be that girl who was like, okay, well, if I have a man, that will complete me, because I didn't have anything to complete me when I was young.
Right.
So I felt like, you know, you can't change a person. They got to be able to change within themselves. You got to be able to do best, you know, for themselves. You can't,
right.
Man, you can't do any of that. But the thing that people that women have to place first is their standards. Anytime you put a preference before a standard, you're gonna always lead into a lane of toxicity, always, because you're forever craving a desire that's never gonna be met. I felt like where we was at, me and that guy X, whatever,
mm-hmm.
we were at in our moment of life or whatever, was nothing wasn't being fulfilled, nothing, but just a preference, an image, the mask,
and you told me before, you said that you know, it wasn't more so of the car, because you said you would have did that for anybody. So do you think, like, you just being a kind person and just being naive to people that's manipulative out there, that was one of the main reasons as well? It wasn't more so of you liking that person, it's just your heart and, you know, you wanting to help out.
It's a strong heart that I have, you know what I'm saying? But it hits so hard at a, you know, solely because when you feel for somebody so hard, you know what I'm saying? And the feeling can feel like love at some standpoint, but it's not love, because love really is you loving yourself so you can receive it from whoever that person is. Like, my ideal of a man is a man loving to watch me love myself. I want a man who knows himself.
Right.
If you are outside of those two standards, that boundary at a, you know, solely, right, I can't do anything with you. I can't. I don't want to hear nothing about no logistical matters. I don't want to hear nothing about it.
Because you'll find yourself pouring in his cup and your cup is just becoming empty. Like, no one's pulling in your cup.
Yeah, it's like catering to one side of a ship and your ship is now sinking.
Right.
You know, if you want a partnership, you seeking out balance. We didn't have no balance. It was just there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we weren't even in talking, like, not even 6 months. The energy was so strong. The soul was so strong.
And you know, intimacy plays a role in that as well. Like, when you're sexually active, some soul ties, it kind of blinds you and clouds your judgment as well. You don't really see everything that you would see if you exclude that from the situation. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes, you know, when we're dealing with someone in a relationship, we have to eliminate being sexual with that person.
Exactly, and that's where intimacy.
We'll start seeing things that we wouldn't have seen before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's where intimacy comes into play, because it's like when you are exhibiting intimacy, you pretty much bringing two eyes together to form a third eye, right? A whole third image. And outside of our sexuality, I felt that it was something that was gonna prosper. That's what I felt. But I wasn't putting me first. And that's where everything was, you know, it was looking misconstrued. Everything was just looking so off.
Why do you feel like you wasn't putting yourself first?
Well, for one, the car situation. I feel like I was putting in so much time than putting time into me and my craft. You know, I felt like I was supporting more of his creative means, you know, what he was doing, you know, opposed to doing what I'm supposed to be doing for me.
Okay, I get it.
If I was that woman to say, oh no, you know what I'm saying, you having car problems, figure it out. You know, with me being that I know myself now, if somebody come up to me with a logistical matter like that, I'm like, all right, I get what you're going through. I feel it. you know.
I'll help you with some resources.
Right, I can help you with resources, but I can't,
no.
you know, I can't find a solution for it. That's not my part. That's like trying to heal a person and they never changing. You know what I'm saying? It's counterproductive. You just can't do that.
Right.
So you just gotta, you know, nip it in the bud and just say, hey, look, it's cool to have a big heart, but you gotta know how to play on your heart. Like, you can't just give your heart to somebody when their heart isn't fully open to yours.
Right.
So it's so easy for men, strong masculinity, you know what I'm saying, to really enter to somebody who's feminine so much, to get so much out of that, you know, without them looking at the bigger picture of discernment. You know what I'm saying? If you lack discernment, oh my gosh, I mean, so much can just come in and just wring you out. It can wring you out and it can make you look tired and everything.
Yeah. Do you feel like that affected you in that way? You know, after that situation, do you feel like it started to wear you out and make you look tired and you just wasn't being the person that you normally was, like going through that situation?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I was tired.
Girl.
I was tired. I looked tired because, for one,
was you disappointed in yourself? Like,
yeah, it affected my womanhood.
Yeah, that's what I was.
My womanhood, because it's like, you know, when you're done with the situation and you go to sit down and to evaluate yourself, or your day or your months, whatever, how much you've been contributing to yourself of, it's like, man, you know, this person really didn't appreciate you. Right. And when a person doesn't appreciate you, all you can do is look on yourself. Like, man, you didn't even appreciate yourself enough for the outcome to be prosperous. You know, nothing came out of that. Nothing. So it made me feel like shit.
And the fact that we was able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with me, I see that I feel like it's growth to be a woman and be able to, you know, be there and listen to you and what you was going through. You know what I'm saying? And like trying to find solutions for you and help you out. I don't feel like all women would do that. I feel like some women would be like, well, I'm still messing with him, or loyal to them to the point where they don't see a woman crying out for help. Like, who knows? Like, you probably wasn't that, you couldn't have been that strong enough. You could have committed suicide. Who knows what you could have done in that situation because of the effect it had on you. That's why I felt like it was important to like hear what you was going through, share my side of the story, and try to come up with a solution. Because at the end of the day, that's all that mattered. You know what I'm saying? Especially with you having a child, and that plays a part of it as well. When you went into solitude, how was that with you? Like, what came out of that?
A lot came out of that. When you are in complete solitude, it allows you to really look at all of your bullshit. Like, you know, it allows you to see what you've been doing to yourself. You know, I've been taking several jabs at myself. It's like a subtle suicide effect, you know. And then it's like, not only that, trying to get out of the effects of dopamine. When you're in a dopamine loop, it's so hard for you to get out of it, because it's like, as stated before, it's like craving a desire that's never going to be met. But then when the reality is given to you right there, you don't even want the reality anymore. Right. I was craving so much more of perfectionism than realism than anything, and that was affecting me. And I didn't see that effect around that time because I didn't know myself. I didn't see myself. I felt like I was going through, it's a disease, it's called like Otard's disease or something like that, where you feel like you're dead, like you just walk on earth, don't even matter into the earth. And once I woke up, when I turned 30, everything turned on for me. Everything.
Girl, was it like an enlightenment age?
Yeah, it was a whole wave of enlightenment. And it was scary because it was like, man, it's like God was watching me and was saying, look, I'm tired of your shit. Right. I'm tired of you going through this. I'm gonna bring something to light to you. And once you see the light, let's have a talk. And when I talk to him, when I talk to God, the highest, I let it be known. I put my boundaries forward for me, for anybody who enters my life. And that's where solitude really affected me in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can never let nobody get in the way of that anymore. When this situation happened, I was like, what, 26, 27? You know what I'm saying? So much happened within the lifespan of that 3-year term before I hit 30. And I saw myself so much.
What happened, like, so after that situation, you know, what happened in regards to your photography, your career, what you wanted to do? Did you explore new things? Like, what was you getting into after that situation? Or was you still going through certain things, and 30 was like, okay, now let me go into solitude? Like, what were you doing after that?
Well, now that I'm 30, I'm pretty much more, I'm seeking more of solitude. You know, I love solitary. Like it's just a part of me right now. I'm pretty much, you know, just relaxing from the photography lifestyle right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to seek more of that. But after that situation that happened, and within that 3-year term before I turned 30, you know, I had laid out a lot of great work, you know, a lot of great masterpieces with different other people. I mean, we created, it took my mind off of the situation, but we created great out of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was able to, you know, get some work in and not lose all of my mojo when it came to that, you know, that side of the industry. You know, I kept it going. I didn't let, oh yeah, because this situation happened, let it just affect my entire life. And that's where my resilience, you know, offset it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I'm blessed to have is resilience.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after that situation, I said, well, I'm not gonna be one of those women to be bitter. You know, I'm not gonna hold this over my head. You know, I prayed for me. I even prayed for him because I hope one day, and I mean, I don't even wish this on any of my worst enemies. You know, I just pray that he doesn't go through a life death situation like that's so painful towards he's on his knees crying at death. You know what I'm saying? Him asking for some help for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be able to release all your karmic debt. You know what I'm saying? Because women don't know you put a long-term spell on yourself when you're not letting that go. You can't be bitter. You can't do it. You can't be resentful. Yeah, you're gonna have it at that time, but if you keep allowing that to affect you throughout all your years, when that should be your years to be, you know what I'm saying, bossing, leveling up, going, you letting him get the power. Don't let this person get the power, because at the end of the day, what happened in the midst of that situation was material. And me, I've never been that woman to be materialistic. I'm a very minimalistic person. I don't need much to make me happy. And that's why I don't mind doing things like this for anybody. But the fact that it was a heart that got involved, another heart that got involved, and masculine energy at that gotten involved, it made it look as if, oh man, like she was either, like how society say, she was stigmatized. That's what my mom would say. Yeah, that's the way society would say it. That's exactly how they picture it. You know what I'm saying? But the same in it was because I was able to move forward and not look back. Hell, I'm beyond being stigmatized. No amount of dick and hospitality can ever make me stay, you know what I'm saying, for a man. Never. I've seen it happen with my parents for 20 years. They was in a 20-year marriage. And after that marriage, my dad was fully established. My mother wasn't. She didn't have no dreams. She didn't know herself. She was gone. Just imagine, Lonnie, 20 years with a man. Let's say you with this man for for 20 years. And he ends up getting established. He has a car, a nice car, a 2021 car. He got a house established. He got a job established. He got money in the bank. And after 20 years, you only have nothing but yourself in your brain and your mind is to think like, man, what happened to my world?
I just feel like, honestly, that's a different time, Q, because like, I feel like the way we think now as women, if a man is not helping us be great as well, I don't think we'll tolerate being with someone that long and we don't see ourselves growing or being established. Do you agree, or do you feel like when you're in love, it just...
I agree with it to a standpoint of, I'm going to give it about 35% of that. And it's the only reason why I say it is because when you're in a relationship with somebody, it's best to seek out individuality at all costs. My thing is, let's say you are fully aware of your spirituality. This man isn't fully aware of his spirituality. If you aren't connected with your spirit, eventually somewhere in the line is going to fall completely off. No matter how much this person helps you, no matter how much the image may look to society, it doesn't matter. If this person isn't in tune with his spirit, you're going to fall off. He's going to fall off. It's just never going to be that level of connection and chemistry. It's just going to be history. It's only going to be history. So I never look at it as, when I'm in a relationship with somebody, oh yeah, you got to help me with this, or if he ain't helping me being my best self. No, you got to do it for you first. You got to. You know what I'm saying? Let him watch you love yourself. And then anywhere in the midst of that, if he's showing jealousy, any type of envy, if he's showing any type of manipulative, controlling mechanisms towards you, it's because he's disconnected with himself of watching you grow. You should never be with nobody like that. You should be able to do the same. When you see him out there leveling up, support him. Say, all right, even though I wasn't there to help him out, I'm seeing him help himself.
But like with your mom, right? When you were younger and her being with him for 20 years, was she comfortable with her role, like far as cooking, cleaning, making sure the house was straight, or do you ever remember your mom wanting to do something more than that?
My mother had to tolerate her role.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say. My mother had to tolerate it because, for one, the way her dad, you know, pretty much raised her was, oh yeah, if your man ain't got money or if he ain't taking care of you, he ain't a man. But that's all the way outside of that. Those are logistical means. She didn't know better on that because her dad was teaching her that because their parents was going through that. So when you have parents who are portraying those same acts, those are what's called epigenetic codes. Anytime them epigenetic codes are shifted upon you and you're not dismantling those old codes, you're going to forever pass it down to your kids and then the next generation and the next generation. It's got to end. It's got to be cut.
Someone has to break the curse.
Yeah, somebody has to break that curse. So that's what my mother was going through. I seen it. In the midst of that 20 years, I saw her tolerating it. Because in the beginning, it was like, okay, all right, we make this work, this and the third. But next thing you know, she's watching him go out there and fulfill life. She's watching him go out there and establishing himself while she's in the house with 3 kids, cooking, cleaning, all that. It gets tiring every day. During this whole quarantine situation, be that I have my daughter, I see me up in here cooking, cleaning, washing. I'm tired of washing dishes every day. Hell, I don't know how a wife can do that for 20 years straight and being in the crib. You know what I'm saying? My mother tried to work.
I commend those who can do it, though. I commend them, but...
Hey, I'm telling you. But I wouldn't wish it upon any of them. You know, I say have a plan. Have a plan. Have some goals. Have a purpose when you with somebody. Don't just be with somebody because of what they got. Because they can be showing the mask to the whole world, even themselves. But then once you go to sit down at night with them, they don't even know how to cry to you. The man don't even know how to cry to you. He doesn't know how to be vulnerable with you. He look at vulnerability as a weakness. And it's not a weakness. It's an entire strength. Because when you open up a vulnerability, you open up different wings of enlightenment for both of y'all, so y'all can keep growing and keep growing. But if you at a standstill, when you at a standstill and he ain't opening up to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't getting nothing out of that but hurt and pain.
That's why I don't mind a man that's in tune with their emotions, honey. I don't mind it at all.
Loni, I'm telling you, emotional intelligence plays a big part. It plays a very big part. And a man who isn't emotionally in tune with his woman, he's gonna forever leave you out. He's gonna forever leave you out on this. Even it's the tiniest thing. You gotta always include your woman into everything you do. Communication is a virtue.
Facts.
A lot of men don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? That's just like with my current parents. You know, my godmother and my father. You know, and just to confide. You know, my mother called me one day. My godmother, excuse me. She called me one day and was like, you know, I love your dad. I do, but I'm tired. She said, I'm tired. She said, I'm tired of waking up every morning to ask him to tell me, to ask him if he can say that I'm beautiful. Why do you have to do that? Y'all in y'all 50s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mind you, Loni, my dad established himself 20 years in that marriage. He established himself, but he didn't establish his spirituality. He didn't establish himself emotionally. He still doesn't know how to open up. Why is it that this woman have to literally turn over just to ask you to say, hey, can you say that I'm beautiful? Why? You're in your 50s. Get it right.
It's probably because how he was raised, you know? Yes. And that's the sad thing about it, because women are definitely being hurt because of how he was raised and what he saw from his dad. You know, it's like, who breaks that? Like, who breaks that curse and changes that?
I'm telling you.
It's weird.
The only way to break it is if you have a woman in your life where she breaking it for you. You know, there's a lot of things that my dad does as far as his controlling ways, and it doesn't affect my godmother. And he sits there like, man, how do I get through to this woman? You can't. This woman is completely intuitive with herself to the point where if you do anything that's full of shit, she's gonna allow you to sit there in your shit. That's what it's gonna be. Like, for real, you gotta be able to be that woman to let them sit there and dwell in the level of discernment, dwell in a level of awareness to the point where it's like, okay, if she ain't saying nothing to me, and she tired because she just don't want to say nothing, I got to get myself straight now.
Right.
Because a woman is really fed up when she ain't got nothing to say to you anymore. She's tired of telling you over and over and over again.
And I feel like, you know, it's just weird because when we are fed up and we stop and we say, you know, I don't have nothing else to say to you, that's when they start getting the picture and they start to change slowly but surely, but it'd be too late. Like,
yeah, it'd be too late, you know, and like with the situation with X or whatever, you know, like with the whole car payment situation, this, that, and the third, you know, how he was saying that he was trying to meet his promise as far as making his payments, this, that, and the third. I'm over here calling him like I'm the damn credit bureau, like, you know,
stop.
like, look, you need to make your payment, do whatever, this, that, and the third, like, you know, keep your word. You know what I'm saying?
And that's all you have is your word.
Yeah, and then when the bank started taking money out of my banking account, I said, oh, hell no. No, like, no, this is not it. And
so,
I just,
like, with that whole, how did you find, you know, him, like, where he was, because he was out of state, like, how was you able to, what, did you just go into, like, investigation mode? Like,
yeah, I went on the investigation mode. You know what I'm saying? The whole social media. Look, I ain't one of them women now. I just sit here and just try to X everything out to make me look good. Hey, I'm gonna put it all out on the table because any woman out there, women do it. Women
and
do.
that's why I wanted to talk to you, Q, because people act like stuff like this don't happen. Like, people happen, people just not grown enough to own up to it and say, look, this is what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you gotta own up to your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I had to go on an investigation mode. And hell, if I wanted to apply for a private investigator role, I would do it. I would do it because I would do it for anybody who's going through the situation that I had went through. You know, I created a whole separate page, acted like I was a whole nother type of person. And then when I went into the whole entire field, yes, and when I went into the whole entire field, I saw that he was laid up with a whole nother woman.
Listen, Q.
And
oh my God.
Hold on, Lonnie. Hold on. We gonna get to it now. But look though, the woman who he was laid up with, she didn't even want to play no part in. Okay,
I called her.
Ooh, I said, man, lady, and I think that this situation really structured my mind, like where my mind should do, like what it should not do, what it should do, this and the third. I even reached out to her, several paragraphs after paragraphs. I'm like, look, you don't know what man you with. You like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all rolling around in the car with expired everything.
Q, I called her and I told her like everything was up, you know, like I told her about your situation. And she was like, she acted like she was with it. She was like, you know, okay, like really? That's crazy. Like he in the bed right now. I'm about to wake him up. Next thing I know, I'm blocked and, you know, happily ever after.
The block thing.
I didn't understand it.
Hey, the block thing is.
But guys are really manipulative, and that's dangerous. That is really dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and some men, they play the role where it's like, you know, they tell you what's bad with the woman that they with, so they can keep the woman who they have now present. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. You know, if I don't hear nothing positive that you saying about the person who you got kids with too, it's like, man, like who really are you as a person? You know, as a man, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want to take care of your kid. You know what I'm saying? And you're not even claiming your other ones. Like, what's going on? Because I didn't even know anything about them until you mentioned anything about them. I thought it was just one child involved.
And you know,
one child involved.
And that's why, like, honestly, that's why I'm so with this women empowerment movement. And I just want women to stick together because it was another situation, you know, where I went through the phone and it wasn't you, but it was another woman. But it's kind of off topic, but I went through the phone and I was reading his messages with another female, and he was basically telling the other female that I don't let him see his child. So I'm like, men really are manipulative. Like they will tell you what you want to hear so you can feel sorry for them. And then it's like, oh, I would never do that to you. You know what I'm saying? Then you open your arms up to them and oh my God. When I see that, I thought it would damage me, Q. I thought it would damage me like in a future relationship. You know, I thought I wouldn't be able to trust men again. I thought I wouldn't be able to move on. Because it was just so hurtful to see. And the fact that it didn't take a toll on me like I expected it to, it just shows a lot because I was surprised, honestly. Like I was surprised through it all. Like you when you messaged me with the fake page, it was literally December 31st, the day before New Year. I'm in tune with God, right? So I was like, this is a sign from God. He telling me he want me to start this new year fresh. No baggage. He want me, it literally all blew my face. And I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm done. I am done. Like, that's it for me. So, out girl, that situation it was a lot.
Hey, you can't ignore the signs. You know, I mean, this world is all universal. You know what I'm saying? Things don't just come in your life just to be there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pretty much grasp onto the lesson that it's teaching you. And I don't care
And
how severe.
also, like women, we ask for signs. Like, okay, so in situations, we be like, God, please show me a sign. And this is me. Please show me a sign. Okay, God says, okay. He give me a sign. Dang, God, ain't actually give me a sign that quick, and I ignored the sign.
Yeah, a lot of women ask for signs, and once they get it, they don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying? And I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm telling you, like I'm just in a very, very.
You seem like you're in a good space.
I'm in a very good space. Lonnie. So much happened since that situation. That was like what, almost 3 years, just about almost 3 years ago. But within that term, like I mean, I went through it, Lonnie. I broke down. I lost myself. I got back up. I kept praying. I kept talking to God. I mean, we will have heavy talks. You know what I'm saying? Like God fucks with me heavy. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
and you know too that I feel like sometimes that's why things happen to us as well to bring us closer to God. And sometimes we get distracted. You know what I'm saying? And when something traumatic happens to us, it's like we gravitate more to God. Like we're praying more. We want to go to church. It's just like God, please hear me out, help me because I really need you right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So how was that for you though? Like when you was praying and was you going to church or?
My thing is, now I grew up Baptist, and I
Mhm.
grew up into the whole church lifestyle. And as I've gotten older and progressed and seeked out my own level of, I won't say religion, but just my
Mhm.
own belief, I
Mhm.
kind of weaned away from the whole church lifestyle. I'm more so into like Buddhism, my meditation and everything, just
Okay.
basically being in tune with my inner self.
Got you.
That's where my home is at. Anything
Okay.
outside of that, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna pretty much imbalance me. I'm all about the balance. You know what I'm saying? Number 8 is my number. And my thing is when I'm meditating, I try to block out my thoughts. Because
Mhm.
anytime you're always into your thoughts, you're always into a world of illusion. You gotta get out of that. You gotta put yourself in a quantum state of mind. And when you're in a quantum state of mind, just think of your life as you're nothing.
Mhm.
Being nothing is the greatest. Because just imagine when you came into this world, you were given a name, you were given a family, you
A
were given a
gender.
set, yes, a gender, you was given a set orientation, orientation, you was given a religion. You know what I'm saying? All these things were projected onto you. So it's like as you get older, it's like, okay, who really are you as a person? Now I feel like most of my life I've been spending winging away from those projections that were shifted onto me from my family. And
Mhm.
it's like now that I know myself, when I do present myself to my family, they can't quite accept it. They can't grasp on who was this new person in front of us. They just can't. They're like wow, like they're in shock.
Can't fathom.
They can't fathom the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like get in tune with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself sessions of meditation every single day and progress. You know what I'm saying? Keep accelerating on that. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes a day. And when you're
I
doing
wanted to get into meditation, honestly. Was it easy for you to do to block the outside world out, or did you have to, did it take practice? Like how was that process for you?
at first it was so heavy. It was
Mm-hmm.
so heavy because when you're not fully healed from a situation and then other situations keep piling on top of it and you're
Mm-hmm.
not forming any type of mantras or anything just to dismantle it, it was so hard for me to just focus on the meditation session, whether it was for 1 minute. My thoughts would just keep, what I'm saying, it just kept going, it kept going. It was never an ending thing until I really sat down one day and I really talked to God. I said, look, I really need some help. I cannot focus right now. My focus is off. I can't concentrate. You know what I'm saying? My English was off around that time. Everything was lost. Everything.
Wow.
I literally had to build myself up from scratch. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care whoever I was around. If the words didn't come out right and I couldn't understand myself, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Hey, as long as I was talking, I was talking. But nowadays, I feel, I understand myself more now. So I read my books daily. You know what I'm saying? I go on YouTube and I just make sure to seek different type of practices just to help me out. You know what I'm saying? But me, how I progressed with meditation was me sitting in a room of just complete silence
Mm-hmm.
and forcing my mind to shift off from any thoughts. I had to shift off all thoughts and I had to take away my name. Anything that made a part of me or who I am now, that wasn't me. That's all a part of the physical.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had to sit there and I just, I had to get in tune with silence. And as you do that and you train your brain, you know what I'm saying, to do that, it will eventually shift. You know what I'm saying? Because neuroscientifically speaking, we all have like a second body inside of us. And that second body is our past.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime we are living within our past is telling us, okay, yeah, I'm winning now. You ain't gonna be this person who you wanna be. I'm gonna forever have control over you. I'm gonna forever manipulate your life. I'm gonna forever make you feel like you're low when you're around other people. I'm gonna forever make you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you're never just equal with anybody. You know what I'm saying? My past was just so negative. And now when I look at my life now, and when I feel like I'm shifting into that second person, I say, no, I'm not your prisoner. And I would even tell that certain person, fuck you. And even when I'm around somebody, I bet they'd be like, damn, she just speaking to herself. Like, okay, I'm minding my business.
Yo, you are so wise. You are so wise.
You know what I'm saying? I'm minding my own business. Sometimes you gotta mind your own emotional business. Don't put your emotions in other people's emotions. If somebody reacts a way that you don't like, it ain't got nothing to do with you.
Facts.
And I remember letting things like that affect me. I just take it so personal. But now when I put myself first and I'm heavily in tune with myself, when I'm presented with someone who acts out in a way that I used to act, it says, man, I say to myself, man, they're gonna get it one day.
I feel like women, there's some women out here that's want to get to that phase you are in your life. You know what I'm saying? What advice can you give them to get there? Because like just hearing you talk, like the phase that you're in right now is just it's amazing. Like you just seem enlightened, you're wise, you sound very educated, you know where you're at, you know where you want to be at in your future. Like how can women get there? Do you have any advice on that? Like women as struggling with themselves.
Well, my advice that I can give women, if they want it,
they want it.
If they want it, they got to be able to change their ways and get out of that dopamine effect. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you used to, whatever you uncomfortable with, get comfort in that. Disarm yourself. You got to be able to disarm yourself. You know, it's a lot of people out there, not just women, it's men out there too. You know, some people just hard-headed. They don't want to get out of that second body. Get out of that second body, and sometimes you got to be able to identify where you stand in life. Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Are you ambivert? If you're both, seek out balance. You know what I'm saying? Now, wherever role to play, if you are extroverted, you know what I'm saying, in your ways, that can take some work because now you are involved with so many people out here in the world, a lot of people coming to you. So now you got to learn to put yourself first. Now, if you're introverted or whatever, and you want to get out there in the world or whatever, hey, just take your time on things. Take your time. Being an introvert is a great thing to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing because I can literally put myself in a solitude, you know what I'm saying, standpoint or whatever, and not let anybody in. I wouldn't care if somebody took it personal if I don't respond to their text in the next 10 minutes or an hour or 3 days. It don't matter because this is me. This is who I'm looking after is me.
And it took you a while to get here, right?
A whole while. I remember dating someone and texting back to back, like every minute. And this person was consistent with it too. And I felt like it felt so good and refreshing. It felt so persistent. I mean, it just felt like I was accepted from this person, but did I want it? No. Because I felt like I wasn't accepting me. That's me craving somebody else's acceptance from me. And that's something I didn't want for me. It felt good, but it's not good. That's like saying, oh yeah, you're a good woman, you're a good man, but are you good for me? Are you the right person for me?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So any woman out there who really want to change, let go of the bullshit. Anything that's hurting you, let it go. Just let it go. And you literally have to tell yourself, let it go. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, fuck you. It's okay to look in the mirror and say, fuck you. Seriously.
Write out little Bible verses, you know, write yourself quotes, read yourself.
Yes.
Bigger things.
Have your mantras in play. Have a good mantra to yourself when you feel like you're about to go off the cliff. Have a very heavy positive affirmation that you can tell yourself to put you right back on track.
What was it hard for you cutting people off in your life, such as like friends? Did you have to do that, or was it difficult for you if you did have to do
Lonnie, I'm loving these questions. I'm loving these questions. This is a great question.
it?
Now, I'm gonna say it wasn't hard. I kind of fumbled on that one, but there was one person in my life that I knew for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was so hard for me to isolate myself from this person. It took me 30 minutes of looking at this person's Instagram page to block it and everything. And when I
Damn.
did it, yes, and when I did it, I felt a whole wave, a whole burden. It just came off of me. You know, I went under isolation mode from everybody for a whole year. And that whole year, oh, I had the best life. Ooh, I swear, the best life. And then before the year ended of solitude, that same person who I blocked, that person created a different Instagram page and reached out to me and said, look, I'm not liking this. You know what I'm saying? I'm concerned. You know, and for this person to come back into my life, I said, let me give this person a chance then. I said, okay, let's talk. And I'm gonna actually break it down to you why I blocked you. And when me and this person met up, we sat for 4 hours in the car and we just talked it out. Sometimes you just gotta communicate. Now, because we came back in tune with each other doesn't mean that, oh, you have to cater to your ways or your schedule or whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Just know that we good. I wish you the best and everything. If you ever want to link up, go out for drinks, whatever, hey, I'm down for it. But I mean, my life comes first, you know.
Cute. I just love a woman like you, honestly, like a woman who put herself first. Now, the reason I wanted to share your story is because it wasn't always like that. See, we just see the now. We don't see the then. I just see you like now. If I was talking to you, if I just met you and was talking to you, I'm like, yo, like I want to be like that's. I want that attitude. That's how I want to be. But we need to know what led you up to this point and what you had to go through to get here. It's not always easy. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody can take a year off and just focus completely on themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's hard, especially when you're in an extroverted lifestyle. It's
Right.
hard for that. And that's why, like I said, a person got to be able to identify where they stand in that life turn. You know what I'm saying? Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Or are you an ambivert? If you are, you know, tied in with the two, I promise you, solitude ain't gonna hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Sitting in a squared room full of silence ain't gonna do nothing.
And I feel like you was forced into solitude. You know what I'm saying?
And I had to force myself. I had to veer myself into a compelled moment. And if I didn't do that, I really, really broke myself. I would have broken, you know what I'm saying? I would have broken myself all the way down, you know what I'm saying? I probably would have been walking these streets with no wig on. Who fucking known? Who would have known? You know what I'm saying? But it's facts though. I would have lost myself because when you pour in so much to people and they aren't pouring into you, eventually you're gonna lose yourself.
I see a lot.
You don't want that level of deconstruction. You want to deconstruct the organic way. You know what I'm saying? Get your sage, get your Palo Santo. You know what I'm saying? Get your books going. You know what I'm saying?
Put people on, Q. Put people on.
I'm trying to tell you. You gotta get it together.
Listen,
we got sage. We got a little fresh garlic. You know what I'm saying? You got a little garlic.
You don't play no.
I don't play no game. Let me tell you, Lonnie. Let me tell you. My parents came down here to visit me, and this was on Mother's Day. Now, me and my dad doesn't have a close relationship. You know what I'm saying? I tried with him because I see how fragmented his mental is from what happened in the 20-year marriage. But when they came down on Mother's Day, you know, and they left, the way my dad left, it wasn't positive.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't positive. And all I could say was, look, I love you. I love you to the bottom of my heart. Yes, I cried when they left because the way he left, he didn't even tell me Happy Mother's Day. I cried myself. What I don't do is when I go through situations, I don't project on the people. I don't talk to people about my problems. I voice memo myself. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I've noticed in my past was that I would let my mood take over my entire day. And I would feel like that was the perception of my day, but it wasn't. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, look, go through the mood. Allow your mood in. Those moods are your best friends. You know what I'm saying? Get comfortable when you're feeling like shit. Get comfortable when you cry and when you feel like you're nothing or when you feel discouraged. Allow those people in. That's your crew. Because when you're feeling that and you're feeling that, you will know what the feeling feels like when you are presented with a situation like that led you to that feeling. So when my dad left, hell, I done saged the entire room, all the energies. everything, and all of it just went away. It went away.
You gotta be, okay, I'm about to start doing that.
No, for real, because one thing people need to understand about Sage is that Sage takes care of the positive and the negative energies. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna take it all out. It's gonna basically make you feel like you're starting from scratch. But you gotta be intuitive. You gotta be very intentional when you are lighting your sage. Well, Palo Santo, that's just taking away the negative energies. You know what I'm saying? Everything gonna be positive, but you gotta be very intentional with that method too. You know what I'm saying? It all comes with practice. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be in tune with your spirituality. You know, you have to. Don't let nobody come in the midst of that. Don't let nobody change you into that, because there's a lot of people out here who aren't learning how to dismantle their epigenetic codes that was shifted onto them from their parents. You know what I'm saying? And because parents don't feel, yes, and because some parents don't feel secure within them ways, they're projected onto their kids, because as you get older, when you're young, they feel like you don't have a mind. There's a lot of parents who feel like their kids don't have minds, but then when they get older and they start to express that to their parents then start to deflect instead of reflect.
I see that a lot in African American families. Like even me growing up, you know, it depends, but with my mom, you know, certain things you couldn't say, you couldn't express yourself. It was either disrespectful, don't talk back, things like that. But it was messing me up inside, you know, like why I can't say that, why I can't express myself, why I can't rebuttal and tell you why I feel this way. Like I don't, that's parenting.
Yes.
Never
Yes. And it sucks. And that makes you feel like you have to be codependent on others. It makes you feel like you don't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel like you don't even exist as you get older. And that's why the minority that we have right now, that's why they are so confused and so mean. They're so mad. They're mad because they're looking up to, you know, the generation that we came from, you know, where they came from. But it's like, you know, like when the protests and all that was going on, seeing the minorities out there like that, I'm just like, man, it's a reason why they're like, let them talk.
Right.
I don't want to hear no more old people talk. I don't want to hear y'all talk no more.
Let's see how they feel.
Yes, let's see how they feel. Let them talk. Let them express how they feel about our justice system. You know what I'm saying? Our justice system is so weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many people out here who don't want to take responsibility for their actions. And when that situation happened with X, with that car situation, that alone conveyed to me that he wasn't a person who took responsibility for anything. You know what I'm saying? But I had to take responsibility for me though.
Right. Because we played a role in it as well. Because I mean, unlike you, well, I don't know how you was feeling, but with me, it's a lot of things that I already knew. And it's a lot of things I knew better too as well. But like you said, I didn't really know myself, and it felt good at the moment. And you know, just being vulnerable, it was like, well, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It's a lot. And I wish I was more in tune with myself, but I have no regrets because everything happens for a reason. And I know that I'm no longer naive like how I was. I'm not taking nobody's BS. You know what I'm saying? And I put Loni first.
Yes, that's what I want to hear women say. Put you first.
Yes, and I see you do the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. It's amazing. And that's why I love it. Q, I just want to thank you for just having this conversation with me. I know you said when I text you, you was like, girl, no, I'm not doing it.
I was like, I ain't about to open up this damn dialogue again. Like, I done came far away from this, but you know what? I care about women and their lives.
And that's all that matters.
I care so much. I had to be so selfless, you know what I'm saying, with that decision making. And, you know, I could have been that woman to say, no, Loni, you're going to be solo on this one here. But I said, no, you know, let me just talk it out. Let somebody feel me, you know, and being that I came far with my English and how the way I had to, you know, get everything back on track as far as me understanding myself, I said, somebody got to hear me now.
And listen, it's not even just that situation. It's who you are now. Like, even when I'm talking to you on the phone, like, women need to hear that. Seriously, like, a situation don't make or break you. You know what I'm saying? It's all in how you handle it, and just seeing how you talk, your sage going on, getting in tune with your spirituality, the solitude, that's what I want. That's what I want other women to hear. It's inspirational, girl. Like, it's really inspirational. Like, I want a woman to click on this YouTube channel and listen to you talk and say, you know what? I need to get myself together. Cause she been through some stuff and look at her.
Yes, you got to get it together. And the only way that people are going to receive the best you is by being in the now. That's all that really matters. Because like how you said, a situation does not make you at all. You know, you ever been around a person when you just express to them and they rub off that voyeur type of aura to you? Basically, someone who feels like when they hear the negative side of you, it makes them feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
I can't, and who I was before in the past, I would have never expressed a moment like this because I always had that fear base of someone gaining the best side of them by hearing the negative out of me instead of helping me. You know what I'm saying? I've always looked at it as, you know, I used to look at it as, oh yeah, if I express this to someone, instead of them helping me, they were just gonna just embarrass me or just exploit me. I didn't want that. But now when I look at it, I try to have shameless conversations with people. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk in shame. Just let it be known. You know what I'm saying? We're human. You know what I'm saying? This is the human way of life. And you got to find your individuality within that human side. You got to. You know, so I mean, it's a marathon, girl.
Girl, I need you to do some tutorials. First of all, on this. I'm gonna need for you to put this on your Instagram so people could, you know, get that type of feeling, honey, because I'm sure it's well needed, especially with this COVID stuff going on, this pandemic. Like, this is a perfect time for us to figure, and also show us how to meditate, like give the steps to doing it. Cause I really want to learn. I really want to do. I think I told myself, I was like, in the morning before work, I want to meditate for at least 10 minutes because, you know, work can be stressful, and I feel like it'll be helpful with my attitude going into work or whatever. But you need to do that, okay? Like, help us.
Meditation is so important.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for having this conversation with me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to talk with you in the future to see what God has in store for you. And I'm forever grateful, girl. So yes, thank you.
Anytime, for real. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Anytime you need another session, you know what I'm saying, just hit me up.
Girl, I will.
Work out. So, but all right.
Peace. Bye, y'all.
So sis, tell me, what's your plan?